Hi there, students. This week in lab you'll be talking about special senses in the eye. With our video, we want to talk about 3 topics. The first thing we're going to talk about is the anatomy of the eye, some structures that you'll be seeing while you're in lab. The second part of our video will be talking about the pathway of light, how light comes from the outside world to our brain. And then the third part of our video will be talking about how we perceive color through special things in our eyes called rods and cones.
We're now going to talk about a couple of structures of the eye as we go through the pathway that light takes. The light travels from the light bulb to our eye, and the first structure it hits here is the cornea. That's the clear part of the eye on the front where the contact lens sits. It then goes into what we call the anterior chamber, highlighted in blue. Once the light passes through the anterior chamber, it goes through the hole in your eye called the pupil. The pupil is the hole in the iris, which is the colored part of your eye. It then goes into the posterior chamber, highlighted in green. The light goes to the posterior chamber and then through the lens. The chambers can be a little hard to keep straight at first, so we're going to go through a little mnemonic. Over here we have CIA, so the anterior chamber is between the cornea and the iris. Then we have PIL. The posterior chamber is between the iris and the lens. CIA pill.
Alright, just as a review, light will go through, hit the cornea, anterior chamber, through the pupil, through the posterior chamber, now we're at the lens. Light will continue on through the lens into the vitreous chamber, and then it will focus on a special membrane of cells called the retina at the back of the eye. The ciliary bodies are special muscles in the eye that will change the shape of the lens to focus on different objects. The ciliary zonules are special ligaments in the eye that hold the lens in place.
The light has now traveled through our eye and with the help of the cornea and the lens been focused on the retina. The retina then receives that light and turns it into a neural signal. It sends that signal through optic nerve 2 to the brain to perceive an image. These funny looking drawings here represent the 2 types of cells found in the retina. We have rods and cones. Rods help us see in the dark, cones help us see color. The way I always remembered that is color cones. COCO. In the eye, we have 120 million rods and 6 million cones. 2 structures that you'll learn in lab are the fovea centralis and the macula lutea. They are comprised mostly cones in the macula lutea and all cones in the fovea centralis. There are 3 types of cones in the retina. Cones that perceive blue light, green light, and red light. Now you might be wondering, if cones can only perceive blue, green, or red light, how can we see color that's in between, like yellow or purple? The secret is in the wavelengths. Yellow light is very similar to both red and green light. So when we see something yellow, both our red cones and our green cones are stimulated, and we perceive the image as yellow. Computers, TVs, and smartphones take advantage of this fact. They only transmit red, green, or blue light. So when I see this banana, I'm seeing yellow. When you're looking at the banana, you're seeing red and green. Let me explain. Your screen right now is transmitting both red and green light at the same time. That light travels through the eye and hits the retina, stimulating both the red and green cones. They transmit that signal through optic nerve 2, and your brain interprets it as yellow. Now that's bananas.
Here are some structures to remember: the cornea, the anterior chamber, the posterior chamber, the iris, the pupil, and the lens. In the posterior portion of the eye, we have the ciliary zonules, the ciliary bodies, the retina, which holds the rods and cones, and the vitreous chamber.
Thanks for watching our video.